Are we really playing this game? Knock it off. Stop the hypocrisy. America has just as much blood on its hands as any other nation, country, or continent.
Aries Spears' response to the backlash over his performance at the Riyadh Comedy Festival is more than just damage control. It's a full-on counterattack against what he sees as hypocrisy coming from both fans and fellow comedians like Marc Maron and David Cross. In a video posted after his set, Spears sounds calm but pointed, saying he had a great time in Saudi Arabia and appreciates the people's warmth and hospitality. Then his tone shifts sharply. He calls out his critics by name and challenges their moral standing, asking when America became the world's moral compass on human decency and human rights.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Aries Spears here. Listen, man, I was trying to wait until after I did the festival to go ahead and post what I'm about to post, because I definitely wanted to address this. First of all, big shout out to Riyadh and the citizens of Saudi Arabia. I had a great time. I love y'all. Thank you for the hospitality. Mwah. Now, back to this. So for all the comedians like Marc Maron, David Cross, and all the people that were giving comics shit because they performed in Saudi Arabia, here's my question. When did America become the moral compass on human decency and human rights? Did we forget 400 years of slavery, the greatest crime against humanity? 400 years of murder, rape, mayhem, torture, abuse? Did we forget about the genocide of the Native American Indian? Damn near wiped out an entire race of people, stole their land, and to this day, historically lie about who discovered America. The brutalization of its own citizens, black people, at the hands of the police, the same organization whose salaries we pay through our tax dollars to protect and serve, but instead abuse and kill. Are we really fucking playing this game? Knock it off. Stop the fucking hypocrisy. America has just as much blood on its hands as any other fucked up nation, country, or continent. Have a good day. I got that Arab money.
His point is clear. If you're going to condemn someone for taking a gig in Riyadh, make sure your own country isn't built on blood. For Spears, Maron and Cross's moral outrage rings hollow. The comedians who've been criticizing him, especially David Cross and Marc Maron, argue that performing in Saudi Arabia is like helping the government clean up its image.
Well, there's a Riyadh Comedy Festival. I don't know if you heard about that. This is true. There's a Riyadh, Saudi Arabia Comedy Festival. I mean, how do you even promote that? You know, like, from the folks that brought you 9/11, 2 weeks of laughter in the desert. Don't miss it. I mean, the same guy that's going to pay them is the same guy that paid that guy to bonesaw Jamal Khashoggi and put him in a fucking suitcase. But don't let that stop the yucks. It's going to be a good time. Full disclosure, I was not asked to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival, so it's kind of easy for me to take the high road on this one. Easy to maintain your integrity when no one's offering to buy it out, you know.
The anger from fans and other comics comes from what they see as art washing. The idea is that Saudi Arabia is using entertainment, sports, and big cultural events to make people forget about its darker side. That includes censorship, restrictions on women's rights, the persecution of LGBTQ+ people, and, most infamously, the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018. To many people, Khashoggi's killing proved that the regime would silence dissent at any cost. Critics say that by performing there, comedians lend legitimacy to a government with one of the worst human rights records in the world.
Jamal Khashoggi, you know, the Washington Post journalist walks into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul in October 2018 and is murdered. I mean, just the most horrific, ghastly murder. He walks into the consulate. They basically, you know, strangle him, start embalming him as he's alive, and kill him. And
they
then
were embalming him while he was alive?
Yes. because they wanted the blood to coagulate, because they then dismembered him and cut him into pieces to get him out of the consulate. And and this was ordered by Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince of Saudi Arabia.
That's proven that he ordered it?
They also point out that festival contracts reportedly included strict rules against criticizing the Saudi government or religion. So when comics who pride themselves on being truth tellers perform under censorship, it looks like they've traded principles for a paycheck. Cross has called it blood money, while Maron has accused the performers of selling out their own values.
Like, don't get me started about the Riyadh Comedy Festival. All these huge acts, I can name names, but you can just go look it up, were offered complete ridiculous amounts of the bloodiest money on the planet.
Yeah.
I can maintain this position because one, I wasn't asked.
Yeah, of course. That's always with me.
And I don't think I'd go. I know I wouldn't, but it's like, does history not matter at all? I mean, literally, it's like the Riyadh Comedy Festival from the guys who brought you 9/11. Do you know what I mean? It's like, is that just nostalgia? Your check's being signed by the guy that chainsawed a journalist.
But Spears isn't having it. His video feels like a shot across the bow at both men. He basically calls them hypocrites, saying that America brutalizes its own people while pretending to be the world's conscience. From his view, this outrage is performative, another round of moral grandstanding from people who pick and choose which injustices to care about. He doesn't deny that Saudi Arabia has its problems, but he's saying the US does too, and those problems are far from resolved. His frustration is less about defending Saudi Arabia and more about calling out what he sees as selective morality and fake outrage. Fans who are angry at Spears see it differently. To them, his argument sounds like deflection. They don't want to hear about America's sins when the issue is whether he should have accepted money from a regime accused of murder and censorship. For many, Khashoggi's killing is personal, a reminder of what happens when speech is silenced. To perform there without acknowledging that feels wrong.
Did you order the murder of Jamal Khashoggi?
Absolutely not. This was a heinous crime. But I take full responsibility as a leader in Saudi Arabia, especially since it was committed by individuals working for the Saudi government.
Still, Spears' pushback strikes a nerve because it challenges an uncomfortable truth. Moral purity is easy to demand and hard to live up to. He turns the conversation around by asking why critics ignore their own country's hypocrisy while pointing fingers abroad. In doing so, he shifts the debate from the specific, one comedian's gig in Riyadh, to the bigger picture of who gets to claim moral authority in a world where every nation has its sins. Spears ends his message bluntly, telling everyone to knock it off and stop the hypocrisy. Whether people agree with him or not, his response exposes a rift in comedy between those who see performing anywhere as a form of bridge building and those who believe some lines just shouldn't be crossed. For Spears, it's not about defending Saudi Arabia. It's about refusing to let anyone, especially other American comedians, play the role of moral judge when their own house is far from clean.